everyone, this is Chris. Thank you for joining me. So today is a resin tutorial and it's going to be very simple. It might take a little bit of time to make all these pieces I have around me, but it's really fun to do and it's not complicated. So if you are maybe a beginner, but it's not only for beginners because really anybody could be interested in that technique because it's not going to be expensive. We're not going to use expensive stuff. I would recommend following this tutorial all the way through the end. Okay, so first let me come a little closer and show you, I'll show you this afterwards, some of the pieces that I have made. So it's my first try and I've noticed a few things that I wouldn't recommend. I will talk about this in just a minute. So let me put these out first and let me just show you the colors that I have here. Of course, you can do this in any color, in any size. You will need not much as materials and they look absolutely gorgeous. It's made out of paper, but paper that we have painted. Okay, you could use also pattern paper for this, but I wanted to have my own colors, and I decided to use metallic paint, and it's metallic acrylic paint. Any brand will do. I have another one here. This one is a little special, and I will show you that in a second. And I've painted all these, so they are really nice. I could make them a little thicker if I wanted to. But something is important here, and I'm going to get straight into it, is that when you're going to do this, I would recommend using some either thick cardstock or something that is stiff, like cardboard, you know, cereal boxes. Something that is quite thick or stiff, because this is what it tends to do if you're using a paper that is too thin. It curls up when it dries. I think the resin, you know, when it dries, starts to shrink and it makes the paper shrink as well. So I wouldn't recommend using something too thin, like photocopy paper, certainly not, or anything that is like that. So you can always, I will put them down under, you know, a big amount of books to make them straight out again. It's going to work, but it's going to take some time to straighten it out. It's the same thing for this one. You can see that it's not straight. So it's still very nice. I like it, so I'm going to use it as soon as it will flatten out. Same thing for this one. It's really kind of buckled. It's not straight. So that's the don'ts. I would not recommend using any paper that is too thin or too flimsy. Also, also you can do this with flowers. You know, I've used a flower punch to make this one, and it's really nice. Big ones, small ones. I love the butterflies. Let me show you these. I have another color here. Look at that. They're absolutely gorgeous. I've punched out also these butterflies. So what you will need for this is, again, paper, something quite thick. You will need punches, any shape you would like to do. You will need acrylic paint. I've decided to use metallics, but you don't have to, and I'm going to show you something different that I've used as well. If you follow my channel, you will recognize the paper I have used. So for the acrylics, I've used these. They're really good brands. Studio by PBO. You've got Le Franc Bourgeois, which is a very good brand. I also have, they're not here, but I've used, I think, Liquid-X. Also, they're really, really nice colors. They're really nice and metallics. You can use for this project, since it's going to be resin, you can use epoxy resin, you know, the two-part resin, or you can use UV resin. It's going to work the same thing, the same way, it's just that UV resin is going to cure much quicker. And now I'm going to show you one of the two pieces of jewelry that I've done with these embellishments. So this is a pendant, right? I've just glued together two pieces, and in between I have stuck a little jump ring and a little pearl that is in the same color, and I think it's darn cute. I sticked with blue colors. I could have changed. Again, you adapt this to your own tastes. And I also have done this one in the colors I really love. These are my colors. They're more autumn-like colors, but I really like them. There's gold, there's orange, and there's this green. It's not too dark. I would have maybe used a darker green. I have to mix up myself a nice green, but this is really nice. Again, it's a pendant and it's really nice and it's so lightweight. So it's my first one. It's not perfect, but after a few tries, I'm sure you will come up with beautiful things. This is just a technique. It's an idea how to use what you have home differently. If you already have the resin, but you don't want to spend a lot of money in molds or things like that, you can use paper and you can use your punches. So let's go straight to it. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to use my paintbrush. I'm going to take, this is watercolor paper. It's 300 grams. It's quite thick, but it's not that stiff. You know what I mean? This is the same one that I've painted, and it's still quite a bit flimsy. And I've painted both sides. Oh yes, this is something important I would recommend doing is before punching out your shapes, and I will show you how I did these. You can use dyes, of course, is that you should paint the back first. These are painted, these are not. So, you know, it can be sometimes a little messy. If there's a little bit of resin going on the back, it's going to leave a mark. So maybe think, because your necklace needs to be nice on both sides. This one, I thought I used a marker. I thought it was going to be more in color, in a gold color, but it didn't work out that much, so I will probably do it again. But it's nicer because, you know, when you wear a necklace or something, people tend to look on the back. I don't know why, but they want to see how it's made. They look on the back. The back needs to be nice and neat. So whatever your favorite color for the back, you can use black, you can use silver, you can use gold. Paint the back, one side at least, with your color. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use different colors, different shades, like I just did here. I have blue, metallic blue here, and I also have a copper color there and gold here. So when you're going to stamp, or more, you're going to cut out your piece, you're going to be able to cut out your piece anywhere here in a design you like. So it's not going to be just one bold color. You're going to have different reflections and different shades in your colors, just like I did here. Okay, this is kind of half and half, but it can look completely different. This is one of the pieces I've cut out in here, and I will put some resin and show you that. I'm going to use UV resin so it will be easy and quick to show you. And also this one, okay? I think you can see it better. So I'm just taking acrylic directly from the tube, and I'm going to cover a sheet of, again, this is watercolor because that's what I have on hand, but if you have something like, again, cereal boxes, maybe put, you know, glue, two layers of this cardstock or cardboard together to make it even stiffer, so it's not going to shrink, especially if it's really thin. Oh, I love this color. It's a really nice color. Then I think I'm going to go in with this iridescent blue. It looks like aqua, and I'm not really I'm not cleaning up my my paintbrush here because I kind of want to blend a little bit the colors. And it's drying really fast here. It's hot. I hope that wherever you live, you're not in a dangerous place. There are a lot of fires I saw in the United States. In California, I saw that you had a big earthquake. Hopefully from our side, actually, they said that there were no people harmed. But that is scary. I've lived that, and it's scary. And I will probably come back and put another layer. I'm going to make this one maybe a little larger because I want to put gold on the other side. And it doesn't have to be neat. That's the good side of it. Because if you want to have some strokes in your paint, it's even better. And that's what I did here. I purposely did some strokes on top of it, so it's not just one simple bold color. All right, I'm just going to clean it a little bit. I'm not going to add any water. And I'm going to use this gold. And when you want to go on top or over it, just let your first layer dry and then you can come back. This gold paint is a little bit more translucent. I'm going to try to paint with my left hand, which is okay. Yeah, you see I'm doing these light strokes like this, like going over a little bit. My paintbrush is really, let me come and zoom in now a little bit more. It's metallic. I hope you won't have a big flare. Alright, I'm going to come back here and do some stripes, get into my blue there. And again, use your favorite colors for this, right? And I'm going to finish it up. I need to use something different. Might use a little bit of this brown. This is not metallic, but because we're going to put, oh, this one is liquidy. I need to shake it up a little bit. It's not the same brand, it's not the same quality, but I think it's going to do just fine. Yeah, it is really liquidy, but I like the color. To have maybe some kind of wood effect. Gosh, it really dries very quickly. Coming into my gold a little bit, just lightly. My paintbrush, as you can see, is really dry now, which is good. It's dragging a little bit my gold paint off because I didn't wait for it to dry. And what am I going to use? I think I'm going to go back. What about this color? This is a copper color, so I think it's going to be nice. I've got the gold on one side, and I'm going to use copper on the other side, which is going to make the color match with this. I wouldn't probably use pink. Maybe I should. Maybe I should give it a try, but I think that copper is just going to be perfect. This one is even more, I don't know why, transparent. So I might go with 2 layers of this one because I don't have enough coverage here. So I'm going to finish this one up, leave it to dry, come back, put another layer or another coat of paint here, and I will start playing with this and show you how you can do all these different forms, these different shapes. So see you in a minute. Alright, my paper has dried, or fairly dried, so again, I would consider painting the back of it, but that's fine. I will do that later. I didn't have too much time for this video, but I still wanted to show you a few things. So again, you can use sponges, use punches, or you can use dies. If you use punches, I'm going to show you how you can make these shapes. So you can see this one is really thin. This one is not centered. This one is centered. It's or more or less centered. You will see it's easier if you want to make something centered, maybe to use dies. But then you just decide, and you start, if you want to have a hole in the center, you start with a smaller punch. So you decide where you want to put it. So let's see, and I always use my punches this way because I know exactly where I am at, and maybe this one will be even better. Let's do it this way. Sometimes it can be surprising. It seems ugly, but then when you put the resin on, it looks beautiful. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to keep the center, and then I'm going to use a bigger punch, and I'm going to go around it. So as you can see, sometimes I just throw these away. I don't really use them very much. So you can either center it, like I'm going to do here, and I need to turn it around. There you go. So this one is kind of not too bad centered. Or what you can do, and I'm going to do this with a smaller one, Let me see. I'm going to take these bits off. Maybe I want to use it again. Or I'm going to use another color. Maybe this one. This one here. And we're not wasting anything. And I'm going to take another punch. And what you can do is just offset it. And it's going to make you another shape. It's going to look different. And this is the way I've done these. I hope I'm not too far away. There you go. So you see, that's how you make your shapes. It's exactly the same thing when you do your squares, okay? These squares, can't find them anymore because some of them were used into my jewelry pieces, but the inside are kept, and I can also use the outside. And what you could do, I have one here, spare one. It's not the same, but you could glue them this way. Okay, you don't have to match them exactly back inside, but you could use a different shape. You could use another circle and go this way, because you can glue things on top or embed them while you're putting your resin on top. It's going to be very simple. And if you remember, I didn't show you this, I think, in the beginning, but this pendant was made, and these pieces were cut off out of these pastels, the dry pastels, chalk pastels that we used a few videos ago, not long ago, and actually I wanted to try it again. And this is nice because I had these leftovers and I never throw things away, and I've made these pendants. So it's not metallic, but it's still very nice. It looks like cloudy. You have all these specks effects on it. You could put you know, some shiny bits inside, glitter or anything else. I did put a tiny bit, but it didn't show up that much. It looks bubbly more than anything else, or cloudy. But on this one, I did put a little bit. I'm too close, I guess. I did put some sparkly paper in here. I have another one where I've used something a little different. This little very fine glitter. So you really can play with these. And on this one, what did I do? I think it's it. Oh, I did put 3 glitter, 3 bigger like diamond shapes stuff here. Depending on how you look at it, I can't see a single thing on my camera. I'm sorry. I hope you'll be able to see it. So I think I'm going to go for the same one here. And I might even go for a bigger one because I love the splatches here. Maybe this one here, it's just beautiful. And I'm just going to make it as is. And I will put resin. This one is so nice. I like the different shades of color. I will maybe use a dye on this one as well. But they're so beautiful. Do I have another one here? I'm looking. It's not always easy. Let's see. Yeah, I think, or maybe a smaller one. Yeah. There you go. And what about the outside? It's not that nice. I could cut here. But anyway, I'm not going to take too much of your time here. But you really can do so many things and use all kinds of dyes or punches here. Then I'm going to start using my resin, and I've decided to use UV resin. Of course, you can use, again, any kind of your favorite brands. There are so many out there. If you really ask me, I would recommend 1 or 2 brands if you want to. I'm going to put my paper here. So this is a silicone mat with some things here on top which are very smooth, and it's really nice when you want to dome or put resin on top. And as you can see, I'm trying to straighten out my paper, because if it's already buckling or not straight from the beginning, it's not going to get better afterwards. I'm just going to trim off a little bit this piece here. I can see it was not cut very straight with my punches. That's why I like to use dies, and more specifically if it's really hard weight paper, I'm going to do all of them at once, and I'm not using a small UV lamp like these. I have that. I use it sometimes, but for small pieces. But when I do a whole batch like this, I use a nail UV lamp. It needs to be at least 32 watts. I think it's 32, yeah, to make it really work out. So I'm going to use all the papers that I need to coat, and I'm doing that all at once. So I'm not going to do it every single one, because as soon as I did the first one, you will understand. So I'm going to get my resin here. This is again UV resin, and this one you can buy it on Amazon. The price is not bad at all. I tried to compare it with other sites, and it's not bad. And I'm going to use one of these sticks and a little toothpick, and I'm going to do this like that. Oh, and if you use a UV lamp, let me show you mine. It was about $15, if not yet less. I'm going to show you this one. Make sure, because I think it's really handy, that you can take the bottom off. This is the inside. You've got 4 UV lamps, and this is one with a reflection on top. And I think that I wonder if I shouldn't have taken this off. No. Okay. I thought there was something else. But make sure you can take this away, because, for example, this mat doesn't fit, but I can still bring my lamp and put it on top. Okay, because this is smaller than my mat, and I don't want to cut my mat. So by being able to take the drawer or the top bottom apart, that's really really handy. All right, so now I'm going to take my resin, and take your time again when you do this. I'm going to get a little closer here. When it's big, when there's no details, it's going to be very fast to do. And I'm going to do a small one, just as an example. And I'm just going to let go the, should I come a little closer maybe? Okay. So I'm just spreading it out. Make sure it goes up to the edges. And if you're not pleased with it, well, you can come back and add more. You know, it's always to not put too much at a time, because it might spill over, and then you'll have some sanding to do or cutting. It's always better to maybe spend a few more minutes, not putting too much, and then coming back, putting another layer on top, and dome it a little bit more if you want to. I can see there's some bubbles, but I'm going to let them come up a little bit, and I'm going to continue. I'm going to do this one, and I can see it's not straight, so let me straighten out this one a little bit. That's why you see this is, even though it's kind of heavy or thick, it needs to be a bit more sturdy. So I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm not using fancy tools. I have a bit more fancy tools, but I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. If you're beginners, that you can't, afford having something really expensive, and I think I have more control. You also have bottles with fine tips, but they tend to be slow. The liquid is quite thick, and it tends to flow out of the bottle very slowly. So I prefer to do it this way. But again, I don't think there's any right or wrong, as long as the result is good and you like it. Just do what is more comfortable to you. You're making your pieces of jewelry. You are going to wear them, or maybe you're going to sell them. So do what is more convenient for you. If you want to take, I have small bottles, and you want to use the small bottles and refill them with bigger bottles, and you think it's just easier for you, use that. For me, it takes too long. I have more control actually, like this. This one is not bad, and you can see probably that the colors has already changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish them all, and then I'll put them under my UV lamp. I'm just going to put this aside because you know what the result is going to look like. Maybe I'm going to do this one. You know what? Just for the pleasure, I'm going to do this one. Because I think it's really going to be nice. Oops. I want to speed up a little bit. Don't speed up. Take your time, please. And I didn't use gloves, but I would recommend using gloves. If you have any of that epoxy resin or UV resin, especially epoxy, falling on your floor, on your table, on a spot that you didn't protect, quickly, before it hardens, take alcohol and take it away. Use alcohol, rubbing alcohol, like at least 70%, and rub it off. Because if you wait too long, especially with epoxy resin, and if it's hot, it's going to start a cure very quickly, and then it's going to be almost impossible to take it away. And you're going to ruin your table or whatever, wherever it fell on. Yes, this one I think is really going to be nice. It's not going to be metallic, but I think it's really going to be beautiful. And I'm going to use a lighter, and I'm going to take all the bubbles out before putting it under my UV lamp. So let me grab my lighter. And I know it's paper, but I'm going very fast on top. I'm not spending hours there, and I'm not going to burn this. So if young people are using or seeing, this video, please don't do this alone. Do this with an adult, because all these products can be a little toxic too. So I would also consider doing either in a very well ventilated room or with a mask on. For me, it's a bit complicated if I use a mask because my camera is not going to pick up my voice very well, so that's the way I do it. But read the notice, and just for safety and, health issues, do it the right way for yourself. Alright, so I'm going to put this aside just for a minute. I'm not going to move it too long, and I'll be back after all this is done. Okay, so I have just finished these. It's still a little bit hot, but look at this. How nice this is. And again, I haven't decided to put anything on top. I might put just another layer to make it a bit more domey, but it's really nice. And again, that was this paper. Look at this. Beautiful. You turn paper with cheap chalks into a piece of jewelry. This one too. And it's quite flat, which I'm happy about. This one is really nice. There are different colors, greens and copper, gold, and blue. I really like this one. I don't want to put my fingers yet in there because I might get my fingerprints. And I also have this one here. So then I'm going to put this aside now. When you have all your pieces together, it's either you glue them down once you are happy with all your pieces, and you start making a design like I made previously, a pendant and things like that. So you just, play with these. You can replace the center, like for example, this one that was cut off another piece. I could put it back here and maybe a little butterfly on top, and use UV resin on the back, why not, to glue them all together. Or I could use any embellishments on top. This flower is probably a bit too big, but I could use it as well. You know, you can mix and match things. You can put them back inside. Like this one would be nice also. But you can also put them on top of each other. Just like I did with these. So you can glue them down. But if you want it to be a bit more organic, once you put a little bit, and again, it might be better doing this with epoxy resin because it dries slowly, but I've done this with the UV resin. You put just a little bit of UV resin on your pieces there, just a little bit. You use that as glue before really putting resin everywhere, and you bond them. First, take a picture, make a few tries, see how you want to make things look. I'm going very fast here. I'm not really thinking about anything. Maybe the colors don't even match. But what I'm saying is just try to really make sure that they're all going to bond perfectly. And if you're putting this into a pendant and you want something like this, make sure that this is on the same level, because otherwise if it goes like that, you know, sometimes it's going to be crooked when you're going to wear it. So use a little bit of either UV resin or glue, but glue is going to make it very, how could I say, very thick, because there's thickness on top here, and this one has not much. Some of this have more, so it's going to be thick on thick on thick. So if you do that while the paper is not coated yet, you have nothing on it, you just put a little bit of resin, you put it on top, then you put another piece. I know that they're not the best examples I could give you, but you do that. Think about the design you want, and again, put a little bit of glue here, or resin, then you fix it, and then you put more resin on top and you let it cure, whether it's epoxy resin or it's the UV resin. So everything is going to be flat and on the same level. It's going to give you different effects, so give it a try. It's sometimes hard to explain what it can look like, but when you do it, it will make more sense. It's just that one is going to be more dimensional, and you're maybe not going to like the way it looks, or this one is going to be perfectly matching, and it's still going to be dimensional because you're going to dome it. And you're going to put this piece directly under your UV lamp, and it's going to come out perfect. The other thing is, you could also, if it's completely flat, you could also put transparent resin in here. I could not, or it would be difficult to put some tape here because it's not completely flat. And I like the fact that it's kind of translucent, but I could come up with maybe a transparency to get in there and, you know, make it completely opaque or transparent. I could, you know, put resin in the center of these squares too. I just like it this way. I think it's nice as well when you put it directly on your skin. So this is how it works. It's an infinite way of using paper, using paint that I'm sure you already have home, you know, and because beads can be expensive, and you have resin. This is a nice way to practice. It's a nice way and not expensive way to practice how to layer your resin and how you can arrange things to make something really nice. Again, I could put this, I think I'm going to do something like this, a nice little ring, because orange and blue on the opposite colors on the wheel. This could be nice. I think it should be better, a little bit more raised to have more dimension. I love big rings. That would be nice. Look at these. I don't have the exact same pair, but these could be 2 earrings, you know, with, again, a little bead in the center. And even though they're not exactly the same, I don't think it really matters that much. But you could try and cut the same, more or less the same, on the same line. You know what I mean? You could make 2 holes here and another one here. Because it's on the same line, it would have kind of the same shape or pattern, and it would still look nice. But you cannot come up with so many ideas and glue them together or embed them together. Look at this one. It's a little different, but it could go anywhere. It could go inside here. I can mix and match. I'm going to make more squares and triangles. The blue with the pink. Look how nice. Oh, let me think about it. I'm sorry, I'm chatting, I'm talking a little bit. I try not to talk that much, except to give you as many information as I can because I want you to succeed. Honestly, if I can do it, you can do it. Don't be scared with resin. Maybe another color. Just maybe this one here, and I would need something different. I don't want to use all the same colors. Maybe a smaller one here, so I don't, do I have a smaller one? I don't have a smaller one. So I should cut, but something like this could be really nice. I like geometric things. And maybe a big spark here, something flat. Or why not a butterfly? Let me see. No, the butterfly is a bit weird in this picture, but something like that I like. Mixing squares, ovals, rounds, circles, and things like that. It could be beautiful. You could make this if you do several of these butterflies and link them. And if you want me to show you a few ideas on how to use them, I could probably do that and make maybe a bracelet. Let me see. I still got that paint there. Try to link them and do a bracelet. You put that one in the middle, in the center. That could be nice. That could be nice. And again, it's so lightweight. You can do a huge big one around your neck. It's not going to be too heavy. I really like that. I need to think about something with the butterflies. I do need so, or maybe a butterfly and a circle, or a butterfly and a square, but these are too big. Maybe something like that. I'll come up with something because really I'm enjoying myself, and I hope you will too. If you have any questions, if you have any worries, just let me know. I'll be happy to help if I can. I am not a professional. I'm not too much a beginner yet because I've done quite a lot now, but I'm still discovering many things, and I like to use all that I have in different ways to save money, and I share this with you to make you maybe sometimes avoid mistakes that I have made, like using this too thin paper that is going to buckle and retract. So yeah, I just want you to succeed. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So enjoy yourself. Don't be scared. Make experiments. It's only UV resin and a little bit of paper. And of course, you could do this with pattern paper. But pattern paper is going to be very flimsy. So maybe you should glue it onto something thicker and stiff. Like, again, cardboard. And then resin on top. But I'd like to do it from the beginning. I mean, all the colors were painted by myself. So it makes these pieces of jewelry even more, special. And I even want to say exceptional. This one is really nice too. And you're going to be proud of yourself. You will make mistakes, but that's how you learn. So don't be scared. Go for it, girls or guys, if you have guys also doing this. And if I can help in any way, just tell me. Leave me some comments below for any questions or just comments. Or if you want to come and say hello, I will get back to you as soon as possible. And please give me a like for this video because it really took me some time to gather all these things and try to make it really interesting for you and colorful. I really hope you liked it. And also don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button, and share on social medias. It will help my channel a lot. Thank you so much. Take care and see you soon.